What would you do with a free mansion loaded with money? That's the question that's asked to everyone's favorite number 2 in a haunting spin-off series of the Mario franchise. Luigi's Mansion lets you set out on a journey playing as Luigi to investigate a mansion Luigi won from a contest he never entered. What's good? It's your boy Chaos here to determine if we can own a mansion and still be poor AF as we take on Luigi's Mansion without collecting money. Similar to a no coins challenge, we are trying to avoid the greediness of capitalism, but not collecting a single dollar.
I'm not allowed to get any kind of money. I don't have to monitor that. Luckily this time around, because there is a counter that's going to be in the bottom right hand corner of the game. That's going to have all of that stocked up for us. So I don't have to worry about any of that. It's all going to be there. Anything that we can pick up is most likely money. Jewels, money themselves, gold bars, all of that's money. So we're going to see how far we can get in the game. See if we can. I'm going to see if I can beat everything without it. And this run's going to suck because this game without collecting money is, you know, like trying to play a game without breathing. It is ridiculously difficult. So
entering the mansion gives us quite an eerie feeling. Armed with only our handy flashlight, we begin to search for Mario, who's supposed to meet us at the mansion. With Mario nowhere to be found, we are left to enter the mansion alone. Despite the size of the mansion, there's really not anywhere to go, as our first door is blocked off with some vines, and the upstairs door is locked. Luckily, we encounter some sort of spirit that drops a key and disappears into the room we're trying to enter. Inside the room, the ghost attacks us. We are saved by an elderly gentleman with a hoover who fails in trying to suck up the ghost. We're left with no option but to flee in fear. Professor Egad takes us back to his research lab to regroup. He tells us that the mansion only appeared a few days ago and that he saw Mario enter the mansion. He agrees to equip us with the Poltergeist 3000 so we can put our maid outfit on and clean up the mansion. After a quick tutorial, we head back to the mansion. We encountered a scared toad that was sent to find Mario, and he asked us to help him out, or to do all his work for him. We head back to the parlor to deal with our welcoming party and a lot of money. Turning off their candles starts our first match, where we have to deal with the real problem of not picking up any coins, because that would suck. The ante room is next, and there's really no money unless we foolishly open the drawers in the room. This shows us the first thing we'll use to our advantage. Money that is not initially spawned into the room will disappear after a few seconds. As long as we stay away from them, we will not collect any money. Again, the wardrobe room doesn't cause us too many issues, besides that there is a new ghost that is eating bananas, which causes us to trip up. We can head out to the balcony to find another toad that will save us. Here's where we face our first real challenge. To get into the next area of the mansion, we must avoid a path of coins that are placed in front of the doors. It's like the devs knew some dummy like me would try to beat a game without collecting any money. But we have another trick to abuse in this run. Using the vacuum to suck, we can pull the coins out of our way, getting ourselves away from the attack of the coins so we don't have to pick any up. Egad calls us to let us know that we are about to face our first bosses when we enter the next area. After getting jump scared by the coins lying on the floor, we use our tools to move the coins so we can move down the hallway. The study isn't too difficult to get into, so we try our luck by taking out the father. At this point, we're introduced to ghosts spawning pearls, which also affect our total money obtained. So we are forced to be careful when dealing with dear old dad and collecting the key for our next fight. Father's key gets us to the master bedroom, where mother is combing her hair. When we open the window, we can surprise her, being careful to avoid the pearls she's dropping too. She's a pretty easy fight, and we get access to the nursery where the baby ghost is. He's actually tough to encounter since we have to use his rocking horse to wake him up, but it's blocked by a row of coins. With some careful positioning, we're able to rock the horse. Now we have to dodge a bunch of teddy bears and coins while we try to suck up the ball to hit the baby. This is incredibly hard since we've scattered so many coins across the floor trying to get to the rocking horse. With some fancy footwork, we're finally able to get a hit in, which places us in a giant arena with a giant baby. Fortunately, there is no coins here, so it's a pretty simple fight for us to put the baby to bed as we complete our first section of the mansion. Egad calls us back to the laboratory so we can empty our ghost-busting tank. He has a clever way to document our victories by using his ghost portrificationizer, which makes our boss's lovely paintings that he collects for his weird art museum. Which makes me think the ghosts aren't the worst things that's living around the mansion. Having caught Neville, Lydia, and Chauncey, we get the nod that we are still rocking the challenge with 0 G. We jump back into the mansion where veins on the door finally go away and we get to explore the first floor. Luckily, there's no coins on the floor in this one, so it's much easier than the second floor hallway. We clean out the bathroom so we can take a rest and get a key that opens up the ballroom. We gotta stop some Shy Guy ghosts that are having a dance party, which we have to clear out to encounter our ballroom dancers. Keeping in mind they drop pearls, they aren't too much of a problem, even with their rotating platforms in this room. We're then able to head to the storage room where we have some more ghosties to suck off. We find a button and we push it because who wouldn't? Pressing both buttons unfortunately gives us a new problem. Boo! No, I'm not trying to be scary, but we let out 50 boos that have caused problems for EGAD as well. EGAD tells us that the boos may hold the secret to finding Mario since they could overwhelm him. He gives us the boo radar, which will help us locate where the boos are. In order to find them, we have to backtrack to the rooms we've already completed because they are now hiding all over the mansion. We just have to be careful because they're hiding in the furniture that all have the greedy money in them. So we have to be careful once again. Unfortunately, this means we have to get back into the second floor hallway that was blocked by coins again. Once we've collected them all, we find a new challenge. Remember those coins in front of the door? Yeah, they respawn, meaning we have to find a way to get out of the door without touching it. We're required to use a reset, which might be a bit of a cheese, but nothing said we couldn't use it to our advantage. Back on the first floor, we find the washroom and a toad that hides a key. We can now access the fortune teller's room that can tell us things about people's dropped items. In the mirror room next door, we get a fire emblem. No, not that kind of fire emblem. It's a fire upgrade to our Hoover that allows us to use fire elementals to spit some fire. Lighting some candles gives us another key, which gets us into the cramped laundry room where we find Mario's hat. This is where another aspect of the challenge comes in: chest. After completing rooms, chest now can hold a hoard of money that will try to get in our pockets when we open them. We can ignore this chest and head on into the butler's room, which we really can't do anything in. We head back to the fortune teller, who can tell us that Mario is at least alive, so we have that going for us. Unfortunately, we can't just avoid the chest, because they have to be open. Thus, we have another problem. How are we supposed to dodge the money cannon that shoots out of these chests? Luckily, the chest is so close to the door of the butler's room that we can enter it without having any money sneak into our pockets. I got stuck here for a while, but I figured it out that we have to light the butler's candlestick in the hallway to get him to return to his room. Again, we must be careful to avoid the pearls on the floor while avoiding somehow getting on the stools in the room. After conquering our fear of opening chest, we head to the conservatory to make some music with melody and the sweet sounds of the Hoover of Friendship. A cool Easter egg is that the instruments will play a theme from Super Mario Bros. 3. We don't give a sheet about her music though, and eventually defeat her with some careful footwork. Next up is the dining room and the gluttonous ghost that will spit at us once we take away his food. Once again, we are faced with the stupid money chest that we have to keep trying to open until we can avoid all the money. Unfortunately, we're too far away from the door to use it to avoid the dollars getting thrown at us. We had to find a very specific place in the room to avoid the money attacking us. The adjacent room is the kitchen where we get our water medallion that allows us to create water. We use it to put out the fire that's in the kitchen door to make our way to the boneyard, where we have to deal with Mr. Bones and his dog. We find out that we can get thrown in the doghouse as we get teleported to the graveyard. We have a few skeletons to take care of before we have to deal with the final boss of this area, Bogmere. He's got an interesting mechanic which requires us to capture him with his own shades. With 9 more ghosts captured and 0 G obtained, we're well on our way to the next area of the mansion. Back in the mansion, we find our way to the courtyard where we find Mario stuck in a painting at the bottom of the well. We save another toad from an outhouse who's able to tell us that we need 5 items Mario dropped to figure out how to reach him. We find a letter in the birdhouse next to him to put us at 2 clues about Mario. We also picked up a key in the well that gets us into the rec room, where we have a buff ghost to contend with. We smack him around with some punching bags and have to run away from another booby-trapped chest. We head up to the washroom to clean off some of the ghost and wash away another chest of doom. We stop off in the tea room for some refreshing new game mechanics, which puts us on the ceiling. Great! We also pick up our ice element medal, which allows us to give the ghost in the bathroom an ice bath. She's fairly easy to handle thanks to the small space, but we have to be careful not to accidentally grab some money. We find Nana next in her room, and interrupting her knitting, take her yarn and suck her up. This room is actually pretty annoying because of the difficulty in picking up the yarn balls to sling at her. This room isn't great for avoiding the pearls that she drops either, making this fight kind of annoying. We're able to head into the billiards room next to pick up another ghost that can't seem to keep balls on the table. Unfortunately, this is another trap chest room requiring us to find the path that allows us to get away from the money that flies out of it. The next door is the project room, which rewards us with Mario's glove. Here's where we have another visit to what I affectionately call the death hallway on the second floor, to open its final door leading to the twins' room. We have to play a game of hide and seek with them, which becomes a game of dodge the money. With some time, you can figure out that the boxes that move are the ones with the twins hiding in them. We then have a fun little battle in a tight space against not one, but two enemies while avoiding the pearls they drop. It seems like only the one in the plane drops pearls, so maybe you can deal with the one on the ground first for an easier fight. They are hiding Mario's shoe and a boo that has 100 HP, which is bad because we really can't let it leave the room if we don't want to deal with any of the coins in any of the adjacent rooms that it can flee to. If we keep him confined to the rooms on this side of the mansion that doesn't have coins, it's not too bad. We used the save from Boo in order to reset ourselves into the foyer. As a side note, at any point in time, you can use your Game Boy to capture a mirror, which will bring you back to the foyer, so you don't actually have to reset at any point in time because you can always just get back to the foyer by examining a mirror. After picking up a few more boos, we head to the Astral Hall to rematch the Shy Guy Ghost. We make our way through the room to reach the observatory where we can find the star that we are looking for to complete our Mario items. The fortune teller gives us a bit more information about King Boo and Bowser being somewhere in the mansion. Now that we have all the items, we can finally catch her and return her to her painting. We now get our first key to the third floor. We can enter the safari room, but we need some ice to chill the ghost in there. A key found in the room gives us access to the balcony where we can find the Boo Brigade that transforms into a giant Boo. We have to pull it into the statue to get them to separate so we can suck them up. These little buggers are tough to capture because they move around so much and they attack you at any given opportunity. Egad calls us back to the lab where we deposit our ghost and reach 16 ghosts captured and 0 gold collected. We have to return back to the balcony to enter the next area. A lightning strike causes the power to go out in the mansion, which makes the ghost even more active. We now have to find the key to the breaker room so we can get the power back on. We make our way to the telephone room to deal with a bunch of telemarketers. One ends up being one of the toads we have saved, telling us about the switch in the basement. Egad also calls to tell us about Uncle Grimly, who will only come out when the lights are off, sending us on a minor side quest to find him before we turn the lights back on. We're forced to make it all the way through the mansion to get to the wardrobe room so we can encounter Grimly. Defeating him gives us a key that we are looking for so we can enter the breaker room. Turning on the power gives us another key for the adjacent cellar room, which in turn gives us a key to continue through the third floor. Before I do that, I still have a few boos to clean up before I continue forward. I've made it a practice to try and capture the boo in every room before I continue on, so I didn't have to try to backtrack too much in the game. Back on the third floor, we move right past the telephone room to deal with the clockwork room. In this section of the game, they like to put money everywhere, so we must be vigilant so we don't accidentally pocket some bills. This room is pretty cool because we get an interesting remix of Luigi's Mansion while sucking off the ghost. Beating this room gives us access to the roof where he once again requires us to deal with the Shy Guys. We're not quite ready to deal with this, so we make our way back into the mansion. Now, because I was so afraid of opening chest, we missed turning the power back on in the telephone room where another booby-trapped money chest was. We're now ready to go back up to the roof so we can collect our next key for the left half of the top floor. We make our way to the armory, which has a crap ton of money in the chest in the room, making it difficult to progress. I actually messed up with this room in the challenge and had to redo everything in this chapter so far. The problem is we're forced to check the suits of armor to trigger the ghost to spawn, making it so we have to check everything in the room. With some patience, we're able to get our final room on the floor, the ceramic studio, which again has a ton of money. It's like the devs never wanted me to complete this challenge in the first place. This ghost is different from the other ones, requiring us to ice him 7 times before we get the chance to battle him. Again, this room tries to get us with another exploding money chest. At this point, we have a lot of boos to collect since the ones in this chapter have so much health that it makes them extremely difficult to capture without constantly being on them. Eventually, Egad tells us about an artist that is creating the ghost, and we're forced to destroy his artistic expressions, which forces us to encounter pretty much every minor ghost we face so far in the challenge. The fight is pretty easy, giving us a key to where we saw the Mario painting. At this point, we're gearing up for the final boss. Normally, when I do a challenge like this one, I try to 100% the game as much as possible, but I didn't do that with this challenge. We mentioned the boos during a couple times, and yes, it is a side quest which can be completed. However, completing this challenge rewards you with a diamond. Diamonds are treasures that are extremely rare in Luigi's Mansion and are the staple of true completionist runs. There are 3 different types: red, blue, and gold diamonds, each rarer than the last. There are 2 gold diamonds that are collected after watering the plants in the boneyard and collecting all 50 boos. There are 5 blue diamonds which are found in the chest of optional portrait ghosts, such as Mr. Lugs the Glutton, Biff Atlas the Bodybuilder, Slim Bankshot the Lonely Pool Shark, Sue P the Dozing Girl, and Jarvis the Jar Collector. We beat all of these ghosts except for Sue P, so we could have collected the blue diamonds in our run. Finally, we have the red diamonds, which there are 2 of. One we could have found by watering a plant on the balcony, and the other we can't get until we beat the final boss. Ultimately, the diamonds and the boos are completionist challenges and not required to complete the main story, so I ignored them at this point so we could beat the final boss first. Back to the secret altar, we hear King Boo divulging his plan to Mario painting before turning on us and sucking us into his Bowser painting. We are teleported to the roof where we are required to battle a fully functioning Bowser mech controlled by King Boo. The Bowser has many of the same qualities we have with our Poltergeist 3000, which will suck us up, burn us, or freeze us. Luckily, he throws some spike balls at us that we can fire back and start chipping away at King Boo's massive 500 HP. The roof is not the best place to fight this boss, as the area is relatively small considering King Boo's movement speed. After sucking King Boo, we collect his crown and watch as his hopes and dreams crumble with his Bowser mech. Back in the altar, Egad contacts us once again, recounting our battle. We are finally able to get Mario and grab his painting and make our way back to Egad's. He explains that the mansion was a hoax this whole time. After depositing all our painting, it's time to see our final total of 22 ghosts and...
Where did I get that? You can't do it. You can't do it. You cannot beat this game. You can't beat this game without collecting King Boo's gem. Or can you?
Realization sets in as we realize the final red diamond is in King Boo's crown. You see, the reason we didn't complete any of the side questing is because you are rewarded with the diamonds that are worth money, which means we can't even do them because it goes against the purpose of this challenge. Collecting all of the diamonds gives us 50,010,000 gold, which is a lot of money for a moneyless challenge. Since we collected the red diamond from King Boo's crown, I went back and re-attempted the boss fight once again, just to find out all our hard work was meaningless. It is impossible to beat Luigi's Mansion without collecting money, no matter how hard you try. It's a bit disheartening after the menu resets to dodge the money that seems like it was trying to get in your pocket every chance it got. Well, I guess we did save Mario and we get the consolation prize of knowing we completed the game with the minimal amount of money possible. We laugh off our pain with Luigi as we count an unfortunate loss of our goal of beating Luigi's Mansion moneyless. This was a great challenge and I had a blast with it, regardless of ultimately being unsuccessful. But we're able to push the limits of this game to see just how far we could go, which is saying something because we almost beat the whole game without collecting money. I highly recommend trying this challenge out for yourself because it was an incredibly fun challenge, and Luigi's Mansion is a relatively quick game, so it's nice for a spooky night on the couch. Oh, I almost forgot to mention, there was a great post-credit scene. With the lowest score possible, I get a house that I could probably afford in real life. Hey, at least I got a tent to shelter in. Maybe next time I'll be more attentive with collecting free money. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy challenges like this one, make sure you subscribe to the channel. These challenges take some time to complete, which is why we don't see them so often on the channel. So I would appreciate you leaving a like to show your support on the content and on these challenge runs that will come out in the future. If you want to go above and beyond, consider becoming a channel member today, where you get additional member perks to go along with the videos that come out. Thank you for watching, and until next time, I'm Chaos, signing off. Stay safe, and as always, burn it up.